Hey guys, welcome back to Faro Iron and Customs. We're out here today getting ready to do some more work on this rear axle. It's May 1st, so I'm probably not going to spend the whole day out here. So going to be a nice Sunday. But I'm going to get a little bit done. I'm going to get this rear end cleaned up. Had a couple of thoughts last night. One was not to cut these off, and that would be a good place to mount my mount for my Watts link. So that's a thought. I'm gonna go back and look at another couple of videos. This one is gonna have to come off anyway. We may end up welding that hole up, because if I mount it even with this one, it's going to be right there at that hole, so we'll end up having to put another vent in it. But I definitely got to cut this off. I need to cut this one off because it'll have to be moved. And if I'm going to try to save it, we're going to have to get creative to save it. So I put the cover back on to keep any elephants from getting in with the diff, with the gears and everything. And like I said, we're going to take this one off, take this off. We got to take this pad off. Then I need to go out to the back building and measure where the width of where the trailing arms is on the Chevrolet. See if I think that's going to work. Where I want to try to put the cut, I want to put where that trailing arm bracket will weld on either side of that cut. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure my weld will hold, but you know, if I can weld a bracket across it, that's just a little extra, just, you know, a little bit extra there for, you know, insurance. So let me get my cutoff wheel out, find my safety glasses, and we'll get started. Alright guys, I got this one here blasted off, and I think there shouldn't be a problem reusing it. It's a little thin, but the weld will take care of that. All I did was snuck up in there as best as I could, trying not to cut any deeper than the axle. I don't think I got in the axle anywhere. So we're going to go in and knock these other two off, and we're not going to be as nice to them. We're going to go ahead and just get them cut off of there so we can dress this thing up. Alright guys, it's carnage so far. This was the left side pad. I got it all pretty good. I'm kind of feeling like maybe I got a little too deep in the axle in a couple of places, but we're going to cut a section out of here anyway, so I'm not terribly worried about that. So I was a little rougher on this side, just went ahead and cut into the metal, didn't try to cut the weld off. Now we just got to grind that. So I'm going to throw another cut-off wheel disc in the grinder, and I'm going to try to use the cut-off to cut as much of this, then I'm going to grind it up. Alright guys, I got those perches off and I'll grind it down. First I ground them down with a stone on my 4.5 inch angle grinder, and then here, hang on a minute, got the shovel laying up under here to hold the pinion up. Alright, and then I just went back over it with 36 grit Rolock, and then an 80 grit Rolock, and then went over it with a conditioning pad. Alright guys, this is day number 2 of getting ready to do this cut. I'm going to try to get the axle cut this afternoon. I had a doctor's appointment, so I'm kind of running out of time for the day. But if you've never seen the paper trick, you can take a piece of paper and wrap it around a round surface and overlap it. And when you line the edges up, it's got a complete straight edge around the circle. So I'm just going to take the the marker and make a mark, and then I'm going to measure to where the next mark needs to be over here, which is 2.875. Make another circle, and I'm actually going to take tape and line it up with the mark, and then I'll come back. Alright guys, so I got that taped off, and I'm a little bit short of the line. I'm going to use the cutoff wheel and cut on the inside of the tape. You want to leave a little extra. You don't want to get too big of a hurry on this. Now what I did, the next part, is I took my speedy square and brought it up against the axle and scribed me a line, and I'm going to take the cutoff wheel and cut me a line across there so I'll know how to line the end of the tube and the axle tube back up. Alright, you just want to make that line deep enough that you don't lose it after you cut the two pieces. And like I said, this is a reference to line the end of the tube back up. Now, the next part, and I don't know if you guys watched Justin the Fabricator series, but he says two things. One is be picky and take your dear sweet time. So, because if you cut too much off of this, it's in game. Oh, almost messed up. We're supposed to cut the end of the axle off first. Okay, well that's 2 7/8 chopped out of an 8.84. So, I wish I could say that was the stressful part. Alright, I'll be back in just a minute. Alright guys, I just measured that housing, and this is the 188 housing, not the 1/4 inch. That's not surprising because this was a 2-wheel drive and not a 4-wheel drive. I would expect the 1/4 inch is probably in the 4-wheel drive housing. Alright, if you measure from the flange to this edge of the inside of the differential housing, it's 17 and right at, it's a little less than 3/8. So we're going to measure this one, and it is 17, wait a minute, this one is 17 and right at 3/8, and this side is 17 and a half. So that's good. So we need to take another 1/8 of an inch off of here. So we have plenty of room to adjust. And this is the part where I say you got to be picky. You've got to get your gap right. I can see places where the gap is too wide, where I can see light through it. So tomorrow, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get back in here, we're going to set that gap, and then we're going to weld it up, and that'll be it. Alright guys, we're back at this. I've got this fitted up to where it's 17 3/8 from the flange all the way around, from this flange where the backing plate mounts to the flange on the axle, and I've worked it down just a little bit at a time. Actually what I did to begin with was I got the axle to where it was square, and then I just used my 2x72 grinder, set my flat platen at 90 degrees, and just worked this down at 90 degrees until I got it the size that I wanted, which is 17 3/8. And then I beveled an edge in it. This one looks a little nicer. I was able to do it in the grinder. I do need a better welding setup. We want to bevel an edge so we'll be able to get down there and put some penetration in that. I've seriously thought about this. I really want to use my TIG welder to do this, but I'm more confident with the MIG, and that's the thing. This is very important. Weld it with what you're confident at. If that's the TIG welder, go for it with a TIG. If that's a MIG, go for it with a MIG. If it's an arc welder, go for it with an arc welder. So I'm gonna get this set up, get the welder turned on, and we're gonna weld it. All right, we've measured it. We've got it 17 3/8 all the way around. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a tack on this side and a tack on that side, check it, and then we're gonna flip the angle iron 90 degrees and put 2 more tacks. Oh, and we're not doing anything without ground. All right, now we're going to remeasure it and move the, we're going to remeasure it and we're going to move the C-channel. All right guys, we got it welded, tacked in 4 places. Now I'm going to weld it in quadrants. I'm going to weld this, then I'm going to flip it over and weld the other side. Then I'm going to go and take the braces off and finish welding it up. We want to weld it here, then weld it there, and so you're not welding around and causing it to pull one way. So I'm gonna get this side welded, then we're gonna get the other side. All right guys, there she is, all welded up, all dressed up, ready to start putting the rear end. Well, not ready to put it together, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that other bracket back on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and order new axle bearings, and I'm gonna order axle bearings and seals and a pinion seal. I am sweating. Look at that, sweating. I'm telling you, it's already hot. I'm gonna, and plus I got the fan off so you can hear me. So I'm gonna order axle bearings and axle seals, and go on and put a pinion seal in it. I'm gonna tear the rear end apart and show y'all how that's put back together, and we're gonna put the brakes back in it. We cannot get so far as welding the brackets on because I got to figure out what I'm going to do about this pinion angle, and when I'm under there setting the arms up, we'll get into what's going on with that. Anyway, other than that, I don't think I mentioned earlier in the video, I haven't even looked at the footage from last weekend, but to set this up, I got 2 pieces of 3-inch channel, and that's what I was using to hold the axle tube straight with. So you will need 2 foot. That's 2 12-inch pieces. You could go a little longer than that, but I didn't really see any need of it because you only have like 4 inches here. You could cut it here, and you know, depends on what you want. Also, they make a jig that's a long rod that runs through the rear end, and it has 2 bushings that fit in the caps for the carrier, and you have where you can, set the rear end up dead straight with the carrier, so you know your axles are going to be straight. If you're going to be doing this a lot, that's a good investment. But if you're like this, you're going to do 1, maybe 2 ever. This is the way to do it. And if you find yourself later on down the road needing to do more than 1 or 2 ever, that's available. Anyway, give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. All that helps with the YouTube algorithm thingy, and we will see you next time.